feel about the war and the effect it has on them and on the country. In the last few days, ABC's Al Dale, who is based in the South for us, has been on the road from Tennessee through Arkansas and on up into Missouri.
The first thing we did in Memphis was stop to get a local newspaper, full of war news in the week and a day since the battles began. We found this part of America wearing its support and its pride on its sleeve. But we also found fear and concern over what war really means for the long term. On the south side of town, we stopped to listen to this church service.
Those people on the battlefield today.
A church that has sent some of its sons off to war.
I'd like the church to pray for my son, S.A. Dario Joyner, who's stationed somewhere in the Persian Gulf.
After the service, we talked with some church members who disagreed about whether the U.S. should pull out if casualties get high.
If our deaths get up to 20,000, you're still going to continue to send troops over there?
I think we're in now, we're in all the way.
Is this going to go on for a year? Is it going to go on for 4 months? Or when is it going to end?
Just down the Mississippi River from Memphis, we spent some time with riverboat Captain Keith Menz, who fought in Vietnam. He says this war must not get bogged down the way that one did.
As long as there's an end to it, then the people can accept it. But to us, the Vietnam War it had no ending.
Across the river and through the rich farmland of Arkansas, no Vietnam is a constant refrain. In Jonesboro, we ran into pharmacist Glenn Stanley.
What's your biggest fear?
It'll be drawn out and protracted. I do definitely want us to have learned from Vietnam.
America's self-esteem was badly bruised during that era, and although Legal Secretary Brenda Welch is frightened by the prospect of casualties, she's even more afraid of quitting before Saddam Hussein is finished off.
You know, in the beginning, everybody talked about the oil, but it's more than oil now, and it's about liberty, and that's what, to me, that's what the United States is about.
Time and again, we heard people say America is at war simply because one country took over another, and we should help.
Retired businessman Cecil Potter says it does not matter that Kuwait and Saudi Arabia are not democracies. What's right is right.
If my neighbor is attacked over here by some unprovoked cause, I'm going to try to help him.
Is it worth spilling American blood to do that?
I feel like blood that is spilled now could avoid a lot more spilled later.
We drove on through the foothills of the Ozark Mountains to the little town of Hardy, where Jeff Camps plays and makes dulcimers. Just a few days ago, Jeff learned that his best friend from high school was one of the first American pilots shot down over Iraq. His friend is still missing.
I've got a TV in my workshop. Keep it running all the time. As far as the way as Iraq is, it came home and it's affected us a lot. It's hard for a lot of people, and I think it's going to get worse.
And in the rolling hills of Missouri, we met Kelly Haney, who lives with his father and mother on a cattle farm. He not only thinks the war is justified, he wants it to end quickly. He even went so far as to suggest he could support the use of nuclear weapons.
I can see how Harry Truman must have felt when he had to make that decision to drop the bombs on Japan.
Until the war, Kelly was opposed to nuclear power, let alone nuclear weapons. It is a measure of how the war already is affecting the way Americans think and feel. Al Dale, ABC News in Southeast Missouri.
And that is our report on World News Tonight. We'll have a Gulf War update every hour.